Not too many changes to the team. Fofana has come into defensive midfield and Michael Keane coming in at right back for Iorfa. Otherwise, the team is almost as it was before. Iorfa, remember, will be leaving us on a transfer to West Ham in January. I'm not planning to bring anybody in at the moment because I think Callum Chambers can step up and do a job there at right back, and obviously Michael Keane can play there too if he's not needed in the centre. And it'll also give Joe Gomez a bit more playing time, so I'm not worried there. Hopefully we don't get any injuries, but we can always bring somebody in a pinch. As always, guys, do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've grown amazingly over the last month. 124 subscribers last time I checked, and that could get higher by the time this video comes out. It does really help the channel grow, helps us reach more people and gets more people involved in the community. Don't forget to drop a comment as well if you do have suggestions for things we can do in the show. I always read the comments and I always reply, so do let me know if there's things you really want me to be doing in this series. Jordan Lukaku running down the left flank. He's got players in the middle. He puts it in. There's Atsu. It's been tackled, but Richie gets the follow-up, and we're 1-0 ahead away from home. Mario Balotelli finds Boyan. Now De Jong through to Lingard. Balotelli carries on the run and scores a great goal. Tim Krul maybe could have done more there, but we're back at 1-1. Peters' throw to Mbula. He can put the ball in. There's De Jong in the middle. Now Shaqiri. We've let the ball bounce in the area, and Stoke have turned around this result to make it 2-1. Keane sending the ball forward to Campbell. He cuts inside. He's got 3 players around him, but it's created space for Lucas Silva to go into. Now Origi, still going Origi. Options in the middle if he pulls the ball across. And there's Joel Campbell. We're back on terms. 20 minutes left. Juice been released by De Jong's header. He's in on goal and he scores. And it's 3-2. Just 7 minutes left for us getting back into this again. Lucas Silva picks up the ball, finds Origi. He sends the ball out brilliantly to Joel Campbell, who's fouled in the area. We've got a penalty in the 89th minute. This would be a 90th minute equaliser if we can score it. Joel Campbell equalised once already. Does so again. 3-3. Stoke looking to find De Jong. Keane just gets there. And Tim Krul gets it away. That will surely be full time. It is the end to an absolute barnstormer of a match. Disappointed at 3-3, but I think the team played pretty well. Going to tell them they're unlucky. We are playing more entertaining football now. We are holding our position in the table. 28 points from 19 games, not too bad. 12 from safety, 12 points from safety. But I think we can be looking up the table and not down it, given our upturn in form. Before we take on Watford, I just want to show you how good Kovacic is. And for £6 million we signed him. His value was double that as soon as we brought him in. But everything we want from an advanced playmaker, 17, 17, 17, absolutely brilliant. He's currently at 4-star, expected to reach probably 5-star, and he's only 24 years old. Can't believe we managed to get him so cheap. I don't think his wages are even too high. They're 92,000, which at this stage in the game with all the money in the Premier League is very, very good. In terms of the team for today, Kovacic is not quite where I'd like him to be in the team. We're going to have Vilhena and Wijnaldum in the advanced playmaker roles with Lucas Silva behind them. Joel Campbell is starting on the right with Matt Ritchie switching over to the left flank and Divock Origi continuing up top despite being a little bit tired, but he will get a rest in the next match. Back 4 is the same as before with Tim Krul in goal. Vilhena slips it through for Janssen. He's got options around him. He sends the ball across to Joel Campbell, who strikes it first time. Well, what a rich vein of form he's in. He's put us ahead with 20 minutes to go away at Watford. Ball just cleared away straight to Penaranda. But Mangala's got it back, and now Matt Ritchie's in behind the defence. He's got Janssen in the middle. He sends it in towards Janssen. It's a good save, but there's Vilhena. Back to Janssen again. And this time he makes no mistake. We're 2-0 up, only his second of the season, Vincent Janssen. A very, very solid victory away against a very strong Watford. They've been doing brilliantly in the league the last couple of seasons. They're up in 4th even after that defeat. We're now up to 7th, which is just brilliant. Just 6 points behind Watford, which is very encouraging, although Tottenham and City have a couple of games in hand. But we are in a pretty good position 20 games in. Almost all changed for the match against Bolton in the FA Cup. Janssen is starting up front in what might be his last game for the club. We've had a bid come in from Valencia, and given he's our third choice striker, and has only scored 2 goals this season, I'm not going to turn down the money. Pulisic and Campbell are coming back in on the wings. Kovacic and Sigurdsson in the centre with Fofana just behind them. Lukaku, Mangala, Gomez and Chambers with Tim Krul in goal. Not a bad second 11. Joe Allen sends the ball out to Maika. He crosses it. And Tim Krul has had an absolute shocker. Pulisic cutting in from the left-hand side. Inside to Sigurdsson. Out to Chambers. He sends the ball into Joel Campbell. And it's gone in. Mix up in the Bolton defence and we're back on terms. Allen's tried to slip the ball through for Moika. He pulls it back across. Dunn's there and it's gone in and we're 2-1 down immediately. Fofana out wide to Lukaku. Inside to Pulisic. He's got Janssen ahead of him. Kovacic finds his Chambers. There's Joel Campbell. And there's the equaliser. 2-2. Beats 2 tackles and finds Kovacic. Now Sigurdsson back out to Lukaku. He can whip in the ball. Looks for Janssen, who does put us ahead. Vincent Janssen scoring in maybe his last game for the club. Clayton in on goal has equalised in the 93rd minute and we're going to have a replay. I cannot believe that has happened. It was literally the last act of the game and we've been pegged back. That is utterly unacceptable. Quite a few changes for this big match against Manchester United. Origi is back up top because we have sold Vincent Janssen for £10 million to Valencia. We could get another £3 million on top of that if he plays well. But given he only got 10 goals last season and 3 goals so far this season, I'm not holding out my breath for that extra money. It does mean that Julian Green is now our second choice striker while Batshuayi is out injured. I'm not going to look to bring anybody else and we've got enough players who can play up front if we need him. Pulisic and Campbell out on the wings with Kovacic and Wijnaldum in the centre. Lucas Silva returning defensive mid. And I want a much better performance than we had against Bolton. But against second place Man United, that could be difficult. Lukaku sends the ball into Pulisic who nods the ball on and Origi has been fouled by Nainggolan and we've got a penalty 20 minutes into this match against United. It's Joel Campbell with a penalty and he scores. We're 1-0 up against United. Oh, and Krul's given the ball to Rashford who equalises and Tim Krul is making a catalogue of errors in this episode. Pulisic's free kick sent in towards the far post. Lascelles is there, Smalling down but only as far as Lascelles. He pulls it across and Wijnaldum touches it home. 2-1 up against United. Gomez through to Memphis Depay. He's looking for the equaliser, but it's gone just wide, and that will be a victory for us against Manchester United. Absolutely phenomenal. Well, one piece of news to tell you before we play our next match is that we have signed John Flanagan. We got him for £6.75 million. Not too bad. He's actually played quite well for Liverpool. He did all right on loan for Burnley too. But he's quite a versatile player, and our assistant manager actually rates him very highly. He thinks he's our best choice right back. He's not too bad on the left flank either. He could play ahead of Jordan Lukaku, especially as Baba Rahman is currently injured. So he is a good makeshift player on either side, and I think he'll help flesh out our defence so that we don't need to bring anybody else into the team. He is also going to start today against Liverpool. Lukaku carrying on the left with Lascelles and Mangala in the centre. Not too much change elsewhere in the side. I think it's the same front six that played against Man United. I don't want to change too much because that was such a brilliant result. We just have to see if we can replicate it at Anfield. Grotzka finds Sturridge and it's come through for Firmino and Mangala with the foul. It's a penalty to Liverpool with 15 minutes to go. Liverpool have only had one shot on target with 11 shots in total. They can't miss from here. And Yarmolenko does score. We're 1-0 down with 15 minutes to go and I think that's a little bit harsh. Well, I think we've been beaten now, and it is really unfortunate. I think we were the better team today. That's quite frustrating. Not too unexpected at Anfield. I'm going to tell the players they were unlucky, because I really do think they were. Had we won that game, we could have leapfrogged Manchester City. I would have taken a draw, though, and it's just unfortunate that we lost the match. All changed for this game against Bolton. I'm unhappy that we've got the extra match, so I'm not going to risk players for it. Bamford is actually starting up front. I think he's making his debut nearly 6 months after signing for us. We've got Green on the left, Campbell on the right, Vilhena and Wijnaldum in the centre with Fofana just behind them. Then it's Lukaku, Lascelles, Gomez and Keane in the back four with Freddie Woodman in goal. Julian Green on the left flank sends it out to Lukaku. He finds Patrick Bamford, who scored on his debut. We're 1-0 up. Oh, and the ball's gone in. I thought the defence had that comfortably cleared, and instead they fluffed it up. And not for the first time against Bolton. We've conceded a silly and sloppy goal. Will Hainer having a run at the defence. Sends the ball wide to Lukaku. He pulls it across. It's come out as far as Sigurdsson, who goes for goal. Saved, but Bamford's there on the follow-up, and we're back in front. Lukaku out on the left. He's been very good today, and he sends the ball across to Joel Campbell, who does finish. It's 3-1, and surely that's a place in the next round secure. There is a victory all wrapped up. We're going to play Wycombe in the next round, which, if you'll remember from earlier this season, they were the team that beat us in the League Cup quite embarrassingly. But it's important that we've managed to get through today. We've had an offer come in for Harrison Reed, which is probably going to get rejected. But that is the end of this episode, and things are going quite well. We're up in 8th in the league, 1 point behind Stoke in 7th. We're in and around those European places, which is where we need to be if we're going to progress in this save. Still in the FA Cup, which is nice to see. We'll play Wycombe in the next episode. A few difficult games to come. Not quite finished with the January transfer window yet. There might be one more player to come in if we decide to do so. But that will be all for this episode. As always, please do subscribe, drop a like on the video, leave me a comment if you want to ask some questions or get some information. But until next time, see ya.